Hi everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the Corielli Health and Fitness Podcast. I am your host, Paul Corielli. Like always, if you have any questions or comments, you can please email me at coachcorielli@gmail.com, and I look forward to hearing from you. I wanted to change things up today a little bit and talk about what I believe are the 5 fundamental movements that everyone should know and should know how to, with all their variations, should know how to perform. If you are interested in the works of Dan John, he consistently talks about these 5 fundamental movements and uses them in programming and protocol of workouts. So those movements are the push, the pull, the squat, the hinge, and the loaded carry. If programmed properly, they can be done within a proper program, obviously. They can be done every single day with appropriate loading, with appropriate reps and sets. And I'm going to hold off on talking about sets and reps and just talk about the movements themselves. So when we look at a push movement, we can break this down into the vertical and the horizontal. A vertical press would be the military press in all its examples and all its variations. This can be with kettlebell, or this can be with barbell, or this can be with dumbbell. The vertical press has its connections back to Olympic weightlifting if we think of the barbell clean and jerk. Being able to push weight overhead, being able to move weight vertically overhead has a tremendous amount of carryover to overall strength. Like many of the different exercises, you have to take a look at mobility, you have to take a look at the joint movement around that actual activity itself. The horizontal press includes the push-up, bench press, and all of its variations. Decline bench, incline bench, and the such. For the most part, when we look at these 2 variations of a push, I think most of us have an idea of their background doing more of the horizontal push. But it's my contention that I believe in terms of overall strength gains, overall health and longevity, there's a little bit more carryover to the vertical press. There's a bit more variation that you can incorporate into the vertical versus the horizontal press. Yes, like always, if we're talking about using kettlebells, the kettlebell doesn't lend itself well to a horizontal press. That's one of the knocks on kettlebell uses. Yes, you can do a floor press, or you can do a one-arm bench press using a kettlebell, but classically the kettlebell doesn't carry over well to the horizontal press. So those people who are kettlebell enthusiasts, maybe they supplement with their own bench pressing, or they're happy with just doing the horizontal press up or the push up. Getting back, and final point with the vertical press, there is coaching that's involved to properly perform a barbell military press. The idea of if you're cleaning it off the ground or you're getting it from the rack, and the same thing goes with the kettlebell. There is coaching that's involved to get that proper rack position, setting up the shoulder, getting your scapula in a good position to move and glide across that ribcage to press. When we talk about the pull can be vertical and horizontal as well. Your vertical pull can be your actual classical, your pull-up, could be your chin-up as well, okay? Remember, your chin-up grip is palms towards you, pull-up is arms away from you. Even you can talk, there's a lot of benefit for doing a neutral grip pull-up. If you have a playground near where you live and you still have monkey bars, doing neutral grip pull-ups are a fantastic way to gain strength. Now, when we talk about the horizontal press, we talk about rows and the row family. So this can be the bent over row, this can be a 1-arm row, this can be a three-point row with a dumbbell, with a kettlebell. And once again, there's benefits to both. The one issue that may come about with the horizontal press is that the weight, right? You can only bent over row so much weight before your low back becomes the weak part that's there. You have to be able to stabilize appropriately. You have to have proper arm positioning. when teaching young people how to row and how to pull, the tendency is for the arm to come outward instead of coming straight back along the rib cage. The challenge with the vertical pull, the pull up and chin up, they're tough to do. It's working with body weight. Some may even argue that just hanging from the bar is even a good modification, a good way to start if you want to get your vertical pulling. The vertical pull is a great indicator of strength. It's a great indicator of your ability to move your body weight through that full range of motion. Now, moving on to the squat. Okay, we talked about the squat. I had released a video on how to do the goblet squat. The goblet squat itself is a great mobility and strength tool. The squat includes, if we talk about back squats with the barbell, your front squats. Okay, front squats can be done with barbell, with kettlebell, and even we can talk about, I think, the hardest one, which is the overhead squat. And the overhead squat done with kettlebell, with barbell. This is going to require a lot of shoulder mobility, being able to stay in that upright position as we're squatting downward. Foundational movement. You know, body weight squats are great. Even body weight squats will involve some type of coaching, some type of teaching cues. But if you were to start off with squatting, start with the goblet squat. Minimal load at first. It's a great mobility tool. It's a great way to start patterning good movement. Next we get to the hinge. And the hinge includes deadlift. Okay. This includes any of the kettlebell swing, any of the kettlebell ballistics, snatches. Okay. Anything that is going to involve that quick hinge back and snap, that hinge and plank movement is gonna follow into the hinge family, in the hinge category that's here. Foundational movements and strength. If I were coaching, when I talk to young athletes, I kind of look at, okay, how's your hinge? Because if a person can hinge, if they can deadlift, if they can perform a kettlebell swing, then that opens them up into understanding how to do the Olympic lifts, which are a fantastic modality to use if you're an athlete wanting to gain power and explosiveness within your sport, within your activity. So that's the hinge. And there's some videos on my channel that show kettlebell swings, so you can take a look at those as well. And then finally we get to the loaded carry. And the loaded carry, I think it's a game-changing exercise. It's one that it's great to finish off a workout with, a training session with. This includes farmer carries. Okay, and farmer carries, or we can have what's called the suitcase carry. All right, there's so many different variations. A suitcase carry would be taking one kettlebell or dumbbell and holding at your side and walking. Farmer carry, I would take two. You can even take, one kettlebell can be in farmer carry, one kettlebell can be in the rack, or dumbbell can be in the rack. You can switch hands when you get to a certain point. This should be constantly varied. Each day you change the load, you change the distance, you change the duration. The benefits in the loaded carry build work capacity. If you're able to do more work, then that means you may be able to load a little bit more in the previous movements that we spoke about beforehand. So stay tuned. I'm going to do a brief video on farmer carries and the different variations and how you can use those to your advantage in your daily workouts. So thank you very much for listening. And once again, if you have any questions on this or any of the content, please reach out to me at coachcorielli@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you and answer any of your questions. I will be continuing adding content over the Christmas break, so please stay tuned for that. And I appreciate all the views, and I appreciate hearing from you. So continue to reach out, and thank you very much for watching today.